Imagine a world where reality thins and the impossible becomes possible. Ships vanish from the ocean, entire communities disappear, and ancient codes defy the brightest minds. These are not just stories, they're real documented events that challenge everything we know. Today, we'll explore 5 of history's most perplexing mysteries. Prepare to question your understanding of history, logic, and the world itself. Let's begin our countdown of the top 5 unsolved mysteries. Our journey begins in the year 1872, deep in the vast and unpredictable waters of the Atlantic Ocean. Here, we encounter one of the greatest mysteries in maritime history, the Mary Celeste. This sturdy merchant brigantine was discovered eerily adrift, her sails partially set, her hull intact, and yet, not a single soul on board. The ship floated silently as if abandoned in a hurry with no sign of struggle or distress. Captain Benjamin Briggs, a respected seaman, was at the helm, accompanied by his wife, their young daughter, and a crew of 7 experienced sailors. All of them vanished without a trace, leaving behind only questions and a sense of unease that has lingered for generations. The ship's only lifeboat was missing, suggesting that the crew may have left voluntarily, yet their personal belongings, clothing, and even valuables remained untouched, as if they expected to return at any moment. Supplies and provisions were still plentiful, and nothing seemed to indicate a planned abandonment. The last entry in the logbook was routine, mentioning nothing out of the ordinary. The Mary Celeste was seaworthy, with no evidence of damage or malfunction. The captain's quarters and the crew's cabins were undisturbed, beds neatly made and meals left uneaten. There were no signs of violence, no blood, no overturned furniture, nothing to suggest a struggle or panic. It was as if the people had simply melted away into the mist. However, investigators did notice that some navigational instruments were missing, and the ship's pump had been taken apart. These clues hinted at a hasty and perhaps desperate departure, but the reason for such urgency remains elusive. One of the most enduring theories centers on the ship's cargo, over 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol. Some believe that a few barrels may have leaked, releasing dangerous fumes into the hold. Fearing an explosion, the captain might have ordered everyone into the lifeboat as a precaution, intending to return once the danger had passed. Tragically, if this was the case, the lifeboat could have drifted away from the Mary Celeste, leaving the crew stranded and at the mercy of the unforgiving Atlantic. The vastness of the ocean would have quickly swallowed any trace of them, their fate sealed by the elements. Yet when the ship was found, most of the cargo was intact, and no strong smell of alcohol or evidence of fumes was detected. The ship itself showed no signs of fire or explosion, casting doubt on the theory. Historians and sailors alike have puzzled over these inconsistencies. The alcohol fume theory, while plausible, doesn't fully explain the calm and orderly state of the ship, nor the absence of any distress signals. Other possibilities, such as mutiny or piracy, seem unlikely. The ship's valuables were untouched, and there was no evidence of theft or violence. The cabins remained neat, and the crew's personal effects were left behind, as if they had every intention of returning. With no clear answers, more fantastic explanations have emerged over the years. Some have speculated about attacks by sea monsters, like the legendary giant squid. Others have suggested the crew was lured away by mysterious floating islands, or even abducted by extraterrestrials, spirited away in the dead of night. The truth remains elusive. The Mary Celeste's empty decks and silent passage through the fog have become a symbol of the unknown, a haunting reminder of how little we truly understand about the sea and its secrets. After the incident, the Mary Celeste was salvaged and sailed under new ownership, but her reputation as a cursed vessel followed her. None of her later voyages would ever eclipse the mystery of that fateful journey. To this day, the Atlantic keeps her secrets well guarded. The story of the Mary Celeste continues to drift through our collective imagination, a ghost ship forever lost to the mists of time, inviting us to wonder what really happened on those lonely waves. Let's journey back to the year 1587, to the mysterious Roanoke Island, located off the coast of what is now North Carolina. This was the site of one of the earliest English attempts to establish a permanent settlement in the New World. Here, 115 English settlers, including men, women, and children, vanished without a trace, leaving behind one of history's most enduring mysteries. The colony's governor, John White, had returned to England to gather more supplies. However, his return was delayed by the Anglo-Spanish War, which consumed England's resources and attention, keeping him away for 3 long years. When White finally made it back to Roanoke, he found the settlement deserted. There were no bodies, no signs of struggle or violence. The only clue was the word Croatoan carved into a wooden post, a cryptic message that has puzzled historians for centuries. Before leaving, White had instructed the colonists to carve their intended destination if they decided to relocate, and to add a cross if they were in distress. The absence of a cross suggested they left willingly, but to where? The most widely accepted theory is that the settlers sought refuge with the friendly Croatoan tribe on nearby Hatteras Island, assimilating into their community and effectively vanishing into history. Later accounts from explorers and settlers describe Native Americans with gray eyes and European features, hinting at possible intermarriage, but no definitive evidence has ever been uncovered to confirm this theory. Other theories abound. Some suggest the colonists attempted to sail back to England on their own and were lost at sea. Others propose they moved inland, hoping to find a more hospitable environment, only to perish from starvation or conflict. There are also darker theories, suggesting they were killed by hostile forces, either from rival tribes or even Spanish soldiers who were active in the region at the time. Despite numerous archaeological digs and investigations, no graves, no artifacts, and no definitive answers have been found. The site remains eerily silent, a testament to the colony's mysterious fate. The story of Roanoke endures as America's oldest unsolved mystery, a tale of hope and ambition that vanished into the mists of time, leaving behind only questions and a haunting legacy. Next, the infamous Bermuda Triangle, a region between Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico where ships and planes vanish without a trace. The most famous case, Flight 19. 5 Navy bombers lost in 1945 after their compasses failed and radio transmissions turned frantic. A rescue plane sent after them also disappeared. No wreckage was ever found. The triangle's list of victims includes the USS Cyclops and the SS Marine Sulphur Queen, both lost with all hands. Explanations range from violent weather, rogue waves, and powerful currents, to methane gas eruptions that could sink ships instantly. Some blame time warps, alien abductions, or the lost city of Atlantis. While many incidents have logical explanations, a core group, like Flight 19, remain unsolved. The Bermuda Triangle endures as a modern myth, where fact and fiction blur and the ocean's mysteries persist. In the harsh winter of 1959, 9 experienced hikers embarked on a journey into Russia's remote Ural Mountains, a place known for its unforgiving terrain and unpredictable weather. These adventurers, led by Igor Dyatlov, were well prepared and familiar with the challenges of such an expedition, yet they vanished under circumstances that remain one of the most perplexing mysteries of the 20th century. Their tent was discovered in a state of chaos, slashed open from the inside as if they had fled in a panic. Their belongings, including warm clothing and essential gear, were left behind, untouched. Footprints, some barefoot, led away from the tent into the deep, cold snow, hinting at a desperate escape. 2 bodies were found near a makeshift campfire, barefoot and barely clothed, suggesting they had tried to survive the freezing temperatures. The scene was haunting, as if they had been caught off guard by something terrifying. 3 more bodies were discovered scattered between the fire and the tent, positioned as if they were attempting to crawl back to safety. Their struggle against the elements was evident, yet the reason for their flight remained elusive. Months later, the remaining 4 hikers were found in a ravine, buried under several feet of snow. They suffered massive internal injuries, akin to those from a car crash, yet bore no external wounds. This baffling detail added another layer to the mystery. Some of the victims were missing eyes, a tongue, and eyebrows, leading to wild speculation about what could have caused such injuries. Theories ranged from animal scavengers to more sinister explanations. Adding to the enigma, traces of radioactivity were detected on their clothing, sparking theories of secret military tests or otherworldly encounters. The presence of radiation was never fully explained, leaving investigators puzzled. The official Soviet investigation concluded that the hikers were killed by a compelling natural force, a vague and unsatisfying explanation that only deepened the mystery. What could this force have been? Over the years, numerous theories have emerged, each more intriguing than the last. Some suggest an avalanche, though no evidence was found. Others propose secret weapons tests, infrasound-induced panic, or even encounters with UFOs. The lack of concrete evidence and the Soviet government's secrecy at the time only fueled speculation and conspiracy theories. Why were officials so tight-lipped about the incident? No other footprints were found in the area, just those of the hikers, leading investigators to wonder what could have driven them into the wilderness in such a state of undress and panic. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains a chilling puzzle, a story that has captivated and confounded researchers and enthusiasts alike. Every answer seems to raise more questions, ensuring that this mystery endures, unsolved in the annals of history. Our final mystery is the Voynich manuscript, a 15th century book written in an unknown language filled with bizarre illustrations. Discovered by Wilfrid Voynich in 1912, its origins and purpose remain unknown. The script is unique, following linguistic patterns but defying all attempts at translation. Cryptographers, linguists, and computers have all failed to crack its code. The manuscript's drawings are just as strange: plants that don't exist, astronomical charts of unknown skies, and women bathing in surreal organic pools. Some believe it's an alchemist's journal, a lost encyclopedia, or a medical text from another world. Others think it's an elaborate hoax, but the effort required is staggering. The Voynich manuscript sits at Yale, unreadable and unsolved, a message from the past, waiting for a key that may never be found. From ghost ships to vanished colonies, from deadly mountains to unreadable books, these mysteries defy explanation. They remind us that for all our knowledge, the world is still full of unanswered questions. The Mary Celeste, Roanoke, the Bermuda Triangle, Dyatlov Pass, and the Voynich manuscript each leaves us searching for answers. Perhaps some mysteries are meant to challenge us, to keep us curious and humble. As you turn off the lights tonight, remember, the greatest mysteries are the ones that stay with you. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unexplained. Until next time, keep questioning.